I'm placing base defences frantically, ordering them to attack infantry. Look, you see, you focus the attack on their infantry, your base defences. Pillboxes are better for it because they've got better range, but always focus fire on the rocket soldiers.
Battle control initialized.
Hello there, comrades and cannon fodder. It's Dvoid here. I've got a 1v1 multiplayer game, and we're on Trask map. About the most recent version I've got of it, and I'm using Russia. My opponent is using Ukraine. They chose Soviets, so they'd randomly get either Russia or Ukraine by the looks of that. So they've ended up with Ukraine. They're in yellow at the bottom here. I'm in my usual red colour, using Russia. Now let's see the differences in our builds, because I'm well out of practice. I've not been playing much at all. But I've had a decent game today, a decent set of games, trying to get some practice back in. My opponent's gone for a long stream of infantry to capture the centre. Now I send a rifleman this way to secure this oil derrick, because it's well distant from the enemy. They're not going to get a strong force there anytime soon. So I send the engineer as the second infantryman I train. I go straight for this oil derrick. And while he's capturing that, this rifleman obviously guards him. But while my engineer's capturing this oil derrick, the bulk of my infantry are going to go and secure this oil derrick, which is the next most distant from the enemy. You know, according to the position I'm in, at least. So my opponent has gone to secure the centre, which is a good choice. I just chose not to clash with them immediately. Their engineer's moving forward. Now they've sent a couple of rifles. Let's get the production tab on at least. And they've done right. They've got a pair of rifles, which is always better than a single rifleman on his own, because these two rifles will kill any single rifles they come across. And I'll lose the intel, and they'll still have two rifles in place, and they'll kill two rifles if they have the defender's advantage as well, so you need to watch it. You know, it's always better to send two rifles. But after I've captured this oil derrick, I like to move here and group my forces together here. So that means my barracks, my production, should also be here, look. So my engineer's well escorted, but my opponent's got a solid position here because they've got the view range of the hospital. Now I've got my rocket soldiers starting to be produced, and I'm placing rifle guards here and there. It takes up a fair chunk of your rifles, as you can see, because I always like to have a rifleman at the back there. It's a good position for the enemy to move round if they go this way. You know, obviously you could have a rifleman there, but it means even more rifles to cover this area, and I think a close guard pattern is better than a more spread out one, especially at this early point of the game. There you go, my rifleman used the view range to get rid of those two enemy rifles. I've got a rifleman here just to watch for any flank attacks, and to, if the enemy go to capture this oil derrick, my rifleman can take it out, hopefully. Now I've got my scout vehicle, a few rocket soldiers. My opponent's got rocket soldiers as well, so I chose to get my APC to continue moving, and I saw the position. The enemy weren't really taking advantage of their view range benefit, so I thought I'd go for the attack with a superior formation. So I've overrun this. Now the enemy will still have a good view range. So their response, they're sending an APC, look, and they can see my engineer, he's targeted that. So I'm trying to rush to cover it, and yeah. But at least I got rid of the enemy APC. That's something. Now I was unsure of what to do here. I'm moving away, but I didn't want my enemy just to send units straight to the hospital and secure it straight away and have the view range advantage immediately. I didn't want to give up what I'd just won, so I thought I'd take it out. And that leaves me with an oil derrick, two oil derricks. My opponent's got one. Now these units, I've got to repair my APC. But my opponent has done well. They've actually got a heavy tank out. Now, because they lost their APC, although going by the timing, they may have chosen to do that anyway. I should have looked, but it'll be clear in the video whether they meant to have that out anyway before their second MCV, or whether they did so because they lost their APC. We'll see. But I've got my second MCV out now. But I've got no heavy tanks. I've managed to hang on to my original APC, but my opponent is actually ahead in vehicles. And they're at the same point in MCV production because they're about to set up their expansion. So my opponent, you know, they're doing well considering that I took out their APC. It's probably lucky that I did so, to be fair. Now, I've got a minimal escort on the MCV there, but you have to have something. Because if the enemy approach in a large force, these infantry will tell me and the MPG can back off. You see, I'm sending more units to cover it now, but you need some warning. You have to. Because losing an MCV when you're about to expand, it's a bad situation. It puts you right at a disadvantage, it does. But I saw that, and I tried to respond quickly. Yeah, got him out of there. So he's going back to repair immediately. Now, if you were to hold shift, you could give the APC a command for when it's finished repairing. So I could do that, get it to repair, hold shift, and then give it a move command down here, for example. So it would repair and move down. But you can also click on the service depot and give that a rally point. Just like you can give your production structures a rally point, you can give your service depots a rally point. Although myself, I prefer to do rally points on an individual vehicle basis. So I would have that one repaired, hold shift and give it a move command, maybe to guard here with a few freshly trained infantry, just so I've got a respectable force. But here we go, we've got a clash of some units here. And our army values, I'm ahead by nearly 4,000 almost. Yeah, 4,000, so that's a good advantage. And I'm bringing an MCV with me. My opponent's doing right by backing away to their defences and producing more luck. Now they're going to start doing some damage. Nasty. And hopefully I've stopped. No, I'm still on an attack move. Well, I need to. Yeah, I've stopped it now. You need to stop your units in this situation. Forcing an attack move will put my units at a real disadvantage. So I need to get primary production here, and I need to be building more base defences. But my opponent's capturing this oil derrick. That's a nice little touch. And the army values are now even. In fact, my opponent's just gone ahead now, so I have to stop that attack and hold on to what gains I've managed to have, which is putting them off mining, hopefully. But I'm at 6,000, my opponent's at 8,000, so that attack didn't go well for me. And my opponent is placing mines. That's a mine layer. Have they placed any yet? I can't, oh yeah, look, they have. They've placed some already. Interesting, I wasn't aware of that, and there was a chance for me to spot that mine layer. I should have done, but I've got no memory of it registering. To be fair, I've got to admit that yeah, I don't have any memory of noticing that mine layer. I don't think so. I could be wrong, but... And I noticed this and thought, right, I'll take them out, no problem. Use the view range and deploy that again, get base defences on the case, and attack. That was a no-brainer, that. When I saw them moving forward like that, I thought, right, if you want to do that, then I'll take advantage of it. But they really smashed my attack. Fair play to them in that sense. They're selling up by a few structures, but I had to fall back because I was losing too many units. But these are still... I've got primary production there still, and my opponent's using Tesla coils to push this position back. So I need to stop that primary production, although it is still drawing attention. Where are we now, I wonder? The primary production, this home base is undefended. And I thought my opponent must have forces over here focused, so it meant I was open for an attack. Hopefully their home base was open for an attack. But my opponent has placed mines here as well. That's a nice touch, the old mines. Lucky I didn't choose to go that way with my MCV and back up these guys. But I saw my opponent respond immediately. I'm at 11,010 now, they're at 12. So I thought, right, I've got to do something. I'm being overrun and wiped out, so I'm going for the power and retreating, and the units that were going to support that attack, they're now regrouping over here, and I'm hopefully going to make a defence here and start mining. So my opponent's at 15,000, I'm at 6,000. That wasn't good. So let's just quickly check the power, see if I got something for it. No, my opponent is not in low power. That's savage. I've taken a heavy beating, and now my opponent is attacking straight away, and they've got their MCV with them. Bad, very bad. Now I'm placing base defences frantically, ordering them to attack infantry. Look, you see, you focus the attack on their infantry. Your base defences. Pillboxes are better for it because they've got better range, but always focus fire on the rocket soldiers. Ouch. Nice crushes. They didn't have much choice. There's nothing else there but those tanks, so they could either die or try and crush. But this guy's moving ahead, while I thought, well, I'm going to try and do some damage. And I saw these units, look, I was trying to build up a force to defend my main base. But, so that means I've got units on the way that were going to be reinforcements. And these are still drawing enemy attention, look, that's good. So I thought I may as well try and attack somewhere else. Here we go, my opponent's reinforcements have been interrupted here. They are fond of Tesla coils, I don't blame them, but I'm leaving the refinery alive and I've just built a radar dome. So my regular viewers will know what that means. And what... Thieves, you see? So let's see if I can pull it off. But I had to fall back with these guys. There's a thief. And look, I've been overrun there. But we've got an infiltration. That looked like a nice bit of cash. Yeah, I've got 11 grand now and they're down to 5. So they obviously had a lot of money. That's very nice. But I saw I couldn't get any more infiltrations. So I had to send these units, this thief, around the edge. That guy, he ran... But they don't get suppressed, but my opponent sold the refinery, otherwise he'd have made it. Those flame towers couldn't stop him. But my thief here has, sadly, the enemy's got units waiting, and when I saw that guy get taken out, I stopped the engineer moving on to his death, although he has been shot. But look, I've got a nice attack here. My opponent's got no vehicles to screen with. Now that's a no-no. Basics. And... I was hoping this was still here, and them placing a Tesla coil told me he's got production. That meant I could make use of the engineer and try and do something with those expensive infantry that I built, although one of those thieves got me a nice amount of earnings. But there's this group here that killed the thief. Excuse me, they can also defend that, because I was capturing it, so they couldn't build base defences, but they've shot the engineer. That was such a shame. But when I saw my opponent's units were starting to thin out, I targeted this construction yard. Instead of messing about, spending more cash on engineers, might get shot. At this crucial moment, I thought I'd take it out and destroy these enemy units without base defence support. Because, where's that? That's not their primary production though, so they're smart to do that. Because if the primary production was here, it is now, that's not good, because I can kill them as they're produced. That's just a waste, look. They did have it there until a moment ago. So yeah, that's a big mistake. I've been killing every infantryman as soon as they're produced. But I'm falling back with these guys because look, there's a small force coming. But I've got my construction yard moving forward. I've now got mining. These three guys are mining. And my opponent's got that tank. That's nice. And there's that mine layer. Doesn't look like it's doing much. Now I've got more thieves and an engineer, so I've got to be careful, don't let them move too far ahead. That's got to be a dead engineer, surely. Nope, still ticking. Now let's see what happens. Economy 12 grand to 2,800. Now I've got to move past and overrun that refinery. There's an infiltration. Not a lot. Now I've got the capture. So, I've got 14,000 credits. Now I'm training thieves because I've got the chokehold on this. But I knew my opponent is likely to be attacking, look, so I sent infantry to protect them, and he just got the shot off on that. So nicely, like, very close. Nicely done. But I'm destroying all trucks. Units that are built. I sold that refinery. Now I've got yaks. That's not good. When your opponent is struggling like this and he starts to see yaks, that it's, you know, it's a demoralising effect. couple of hits there. Some strafes. It looks like I actually took out the rocket soldiers. Unlucky. That's an unlucky for my opponent. But my heavy tank's just driving about, you know, drawing fire. That needs to go home. You can press this spanner icon and then send them to the repair bay, just like you can a vehicle. There's mines there, look. You know, he keeps getting brought back by the attack move. Excuse me, but my opponent's building quite a bit. There's that heavy tank. And yeah, my opponent put mines there. And look, I've overrun this base. This is their home base, obviously. My base defences are working. There's engineers for my opponent. I should have taken them out. These yaks should have spotted them. That's really lazy. Obviously I have my hands full, look. Trying to decide whether to destroy things or capture things. My base defences there are taking care of the war factory. And my opponent's got... There's 2 engineers there. They've taken out another ore truck. Looks like I'm moving, shuffling units about. There's another mine. There's a mine layer there, hanging idle. Going for the power plants with my yaks. Bringing in heavy tanks as much as I can. And my opponent's got a capture there. He's actually got that. Impressive. And capturing the war factory. I've got one here, luckily. And the MCV there's trying to move away. But I'm trying not to, like, overreach and lose everything. So look, they've got the war factory. And at some point I should notice. There we go. I've noticed. And he's trying to bring the heavy tank in. Yeah, I shot him, so yeah. Noticed. This one, it doesn't look like I have noticed. Is he here? What are the yaks going for? Yeah. Standard strafing runs, taking out infantry and going for power. That load of extra cash that I stole just gave me enough to, you know, build an air force. Nothing there. But my opponent is making my base his own. Quite impressive. And I thought I'd noticed these captures, and this was going on. You know, that's shameful. There we are. Clearing up. Got a large army value. My opponent's got nothing army-wise. But... you know, they caused a bit of havoc at the end, and the engineers, I shouldn't have let... You see, I've noticed the tank, but I shouldn't have let that happen. You see, I've got this left here, look. Base defences. That stopped the capture. Dear me. You see, a couple of extra better flame towers would have helped. Yaks will tell you exactly where the enemy is. And that's it, my opponent's called it at that point. Plenty of aeroplanes. And yeah, like I say, clearing up phase. Yaks are very good. I went for yaks rather than V2s this time, as like a heavy finisher, along with the thieves, of course. Shame I couldn't get the thieves and engineers working in combination as well as usual. But the thieves still did well, got me loads of cash. But there you go, that's the end of that one. Final structure. There we are. Yeah, that was a decent one. And some heavy fighting, you know, most of that game was combat, to be fair. So I'll just go through army graphs and charts. Yeah, some peaks in army value. My opponent had the last spike in army value where they were a fair bit ahead there. I think that was at the point where I fell back to here. And I obviously, as soon as because I managed to hold on to this area here where I expanded to, it gave me a surge of income, along with some captures at crucial moments, gave me a massive surge in income, and it paid for me to maintain my army and get an air force. And look at that increase in the army graph, you know, while my opponent continued to plummet. So it was a good battle, an interesting one. Very good. Earnings, yeah, there's some spikes, some infiltrations. I do like thieves, but we're both fairly close for earnings, to be fair. It's like an arc each, but my opponent's not going to have a healthy army graph after those infiltrations. It's just you're not going to, plain and simple. But you know, that's decent. And fairly even except for the infiltrations. Well, there's my army, nearly 50 infantry, 21 rocket soldiers. I've got an engineer, 5 flamers. It's about 11 heavy tanks and a load of aeroplanes. I've got nearly a couple of squadrons. Combat graph, I've got 37% vision there. But that's because of the yaks. They have a very good view range. My army value is 35,000. I lost 7 structures. My opponent lost 48. I killed 305 units. My opponent killed 349, so that's nice. I destroyed 104,000 credits worth of my opponent's assets. My opponent destroyed 82,000 credits worth of mine. And I've got paratroops and spy planes counting down. I used my spy plane over here to spot that there was no expansion there. Although I didn't get to use the paratroopers, sadly. There's production, more planes, more heavy tanks, standard infantry production, flame towers and power plants, basic stuff. Economy, I still hung on to 2 oil derricks, this one here and this one here, the first 2 I went for. Spent 154 grand, my opponent spent 113, and I earned 155,000, my opponent earned 110, so that's not bad. Plenty of cash left each. And there we go, I was at 32 actions per minute, my opponent was at 31.9. I was at 32.4, so it was very close. Scores, 1,094 to me, 859 to my opponent. Both got very good scores, very high scores. It's good of the kills and all the destruction in combat. That's why we've both got excellent scores. And there you go. There's your stats, graphs, charts, etc. I hope you enjoyed this game. I was wondering whether to add another replay to it or not, but this one's a fairly decent standalone 1v1. And just may as well, I thought, get the post out there, and I hope you enjoy it. If you do, give us a sub and a like, and thank you very much for watching. Take good care of yourselves, and for now, thank you and goodbye.
Battle control terminated.